I am Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land, where you guys join me every Monday to Thursday for your top stories making headlines from Israel. So grab your coffee, grab your tea. For some of you, it's the morning. For others of you, it's the end of the day, and you can have a wee dram of whiskey. I'm about to do that in a couple of hours myself, and let's get into the headlines. But before we do this, I want to wish all of you out there who are celebrating Easter a very, very blessed Easter. My best wishes to you and your families at this very, very special and sacred time. Let's take a look at those top stories making headlines. We are on day 174 of Israel's war with Hamas. And we go to the United States, where the Biden administration have said that they have verified that Israel is using all of the American supplied weapons within the realms of international law and are not withholding aid to Gaza. This is hugely important because there seems to be this sentiment with many governments, many human rights organizations, many across the world, that Israel is expected to fight a war without any civilian casualties. And as horrific as civilian casualties are, Israel does whatever we can to mitigate those civilian casualties. And I really urge you to check out the podcast and the articles by Major John Spencer. He goes into great detail about urban warfare and the ratio of civilian to combatant casualties. Very, very important that you guys go out there and get the facts for yourself. The other important fact is that while there are some Democratic leaders like Bernie Sanders who are pushing for the United States to withhold its funding and to stop supplying arms to Israel, that the IDF goes through a systems of checks with the United States, and that the IDF is found to be using weapons within the remit of the laws of armed conflict. This is hugely, hugely important. There are other conflicts happening around the world, and we don't know if those same verifications are needed. There seems to be a very different standard when you look at how Israel is dealt with than other countries. The other big issue is aid. There have been accusations from the United Nations that Israel is blocking aid, we're not allowing in aid, constant pressure to let in more and more aid. Well, Israel is letting in the aid. In fact, the unit that is responsible solely for humanitarian aid, COGAT, that's C-O-G-A-T. If you Google them, you can find their website online. They give you a very, very comprehensive breakdown as to which trucks, what those trucks contain, led in to the Gaza Strip. What happens when they're inside the Strip is another issue. We know from video footage that Hamas and other gangs are selling the humanitarian aid at exorbitant prices to people who really have no money to pay for it. And also, that humanitarian aid is free. Why are you charging for it? We also know that the United Nations aid agencies are not doing their job to disseminate that aid, that the Israelis have to work with the private sector to ensure adequate dissemination of aid. In fact, 2 days ago, Israel announced that we will no longer be working with UNRWA, that's the United Nations Relief Works Agency, because they are part of the problem and not part of the solution. Israel has also to date opened up 7 field hospitals in partnership with our international partners that include the United Kingdom and the United Arab Emirates and various other countries, so that aid, especially that medical aid, is getting in. It's important that you know this, because with all these accusations about starvation and famine and withholding the aid, you guys deserve to know the truth. A manhunt is currently underway in the West Bank following a shooting earlier today at a school bus and several cars. 3 people were injured, moderately to lightly. They have all been taken to Hadassah Hospital. One young boy, 13 years old, is being treated for shrapnel wounds. So know that while we are still fighting a war, we are also fighting opportunistic terror attacks happening inside Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu last night told his war cabinet that he will be sending the delegation that was meant to go to Washington earlier this week, that he will be sending them next week. As you may recall, there was that very, very controversial vote at the United Nations Security Council a few days ago for a ceasefire, and the United States, breaking with policy, abstained from the vote instead of vetoing it. The Prime Minister cancelled the security team's visit. However, he said that he has rescheduled it. He did ask the White House if he could reschedule that team that includes the National Security Advisor Tsachi Hanegbi and other security advisor, former ambassador to the United States Ron Dermer, as well as representatives of COGAT, will be going to Washington to meet with an American team to discuss, amongst other things, what to do in Rafah. Rafah is that last Hamas stronghold. And as we have been saying, you don't put out 3/4 of a fire. We need to put out the Hamas fire in Rafah, and then this war will be won. Also up for consideration and discussion is how we can flood Gaza with humanitarian aid. That is a critical point, and that is a critical goal for the IDF. Meanwhile, Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant met with his Pentagon counterpart, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, yesterday. The Defense Minister reiterated just how important our ties with the United States are, and the importance of our bilateral relationships. It's the end of the week, can barely get my words out. And the Deputy Press Secretary, speaking at a press conference afterwards, she said that these were very, very good conversations. They discussed Rafah, they discussed humanitarian aid, and these were very important and very, very good discussions. So good news on that front, and some more good news concerning the United States and also the United Kingdom. The UK government and the US Treasury have made a strong move against Gaza Now. Some of you might follow Gaza Now on X or on Telegram, because they say that they are a terror-promoting news network. The two agencies have said that they will be cracking down on any financing and support of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which they find Gaza Now to be a part of, and they say they will not hesitate to crack down. Hugely, hugely important. We can't forget that while we fight a physical war in Gaza, a legal war at The Hague, where South Africa is being used as the legal arm of Hamas, we also fight a battle for the narrative and the facts. And these groups are often very, very compromised and also go a long way to spread disinformation. But you can always rely on Lay of the Land and the Israel Brief to give you the facts. And you can do that by checking out our website at www.layoftheland.online. That's layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is at Lottel's Site. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. Like, click, share, subscribe. You guys know what to do. You pros, I don't need to tell you. We are on X at Lay of the Land 5. And what remains for me is to wish you all a wonderful, a restful weekend. If you are going away for the Easter weekend, please go safely. I wish you all a blessed and spiritual Easter. Shabbat Shalom. And guys, I will see you again on Monday. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless you all. Bye for now.